Hey guys, I'm making a video kind of in regards to my last post big long post I just put on Facebook and I shared other places because I have more related to that, but I didn't want to type it all out because it's a lot of thoughts. But my whole post about community and building community and how we need to be like community minded, but we're very much not, and how that's a big problem in our country, and it's very evident and showing right now. And I was thinking of this because this is something in my personal journey as an educator that is very important to me, and I think to a lot of people, is building community in your classroom. Classroom community has been like a big hot topic, and we're moving in the right direction. I think we have more room to grow there, but I think we need to do a lot in our own classrooms to build community and to build people that are morally autonomous, that do things because they know it's the right thing to do and that they care and that they're empathetic, all these things. And so much of our systems are set up to not be that way because they're very rule driven. So I thought I would give this analogy, and it's very weird for me to do in video because I like to type and write, but I thought it might be easier for me to do a video. So I wanted to tell you, in my classroom, I run like a very democratic classroom, and I place a lot of importance on classroom community. So one of the tenets of that is that I don't actually have classroom rules at all, and I don't use rewards or punishments. I do use consequences and things, and there's obviously extraneous circumstances where things happen and things need to be like under control just for like crowd control and chaos. But like for the most part, my classroom runs on a lot of autonomy. Like I want my students to grow as people, as human beings, and I want them to grow morally and intellectually. And I want them to make a lot of choices because I think they get better at making choices by making choices. So that's a lot of my teaching philosophy. And I am going to give you an analogy of something that might happen or use in my classroom and how that applies to adults in society. I want to preface this by saying I'm going to tell you something I would maybe do in my classroom that I would 100% not actually do. I would not recommend doing this with kids, and I would not do this with kids, but for the sake of my analogy, I'm going to do it, show you on here, and you'll get what I mean when I start doing it, because somebody would be like, you cannot do this with kids. Yes, I know, but it works for my analogy. Okay, so when a problem arises in my classroom, like my kids were throwing food in the cafeteria, or they're always late to something, or they don't clean up after stations, whatever, we always have a class meeting about it because we are a community and we solve problems together, and a problem is only a problem if it's interfering with someone's safety or their ability to learn, right? So little things aren't problems, and we decide when there's a problem when we decide how to fix it. That's pretty much how my classroom runs. So here would maybe be an example if my classroom was America. Okay, so I have 24 kids. I'm sitting my 24 kids down on the carpet because we need to have a community meeting. Now the problem is that there's a virus running rampant. It's killing people. People are getting seriously sick, and we don't know everything about it for sure yet, and it's a problem, right? I have recognized the problem. My kids may or may not have recognized the problem was happening. Now I am an authority figure in my classroom, so I could, as the authority figure, go into my classroom. My kids are sitting there, and I really give them no information, but I say, guys, we have a problem, and because of this problem, starting tomorrow, you're all gonna wear masks, and if you don't wear a mask, you can't come in this classroom. If you take your mask off, you get detention. You will absolutely, under no circumstances, not come in here without a mask, right? Okay, here's what would happen if I did that, and you will know this to be true because this is what's happening. I would have two really groups of students. I would have one group of students that would be the group that goes, heck no, I'm not doing that. You can't tell me what to do. I'm not doing that. And like just does not care. And then I would have the group of students that does it because I told them to do it. And they do what they're told, right? They are what you might be called sheep, you know. But they do it because of what they're told. Now, the theory is that's the only kind of people in the world, right? Do it because I'm told, or heck no, don't do it because I'm an individual. But what is truly needing to happen is this third middle type of individual, and I will get to that in just a minute. Now, if those were the only two choices, if that was truly the only two ways that could go, I would at least want my kids to be the kids that put the masks on, right? Like, it sucks that they're only doing it because I told them, but at least they're doing it, right? So if the only way to get this accomplished was to make a law, to make a rule, and be like brutal about it, I would do that rather than just give in and whatever and chaos ensue. Like, if that was all. But I don't believe that would be the only way to accomplish this. So let me show you what I would do. Sit down my 24 students and I'd say, guys, we have a problem. We have this problem happening in our classroom community. We have a virus going around and 3 people in the class have died. See, this is when I would not really do it with kids. But 3 people in the class have died from the virus. 2 people are in the hospital. They're really, really sick. Like, it's very bad, and this virus is contagious, and so this is a problem. Do you guys agree that this is a problem? Because there's evidence that people have died and people are sick from this. What can we do to solve this problem? And then, if you have done the work to build community in your classroom, your students are going to start problem solving that. And they might realize that they are not necessarily the experts on viruses. So one of the things they might do is go and look for some experts on viruses and get some ideas. And then somebody comes up, hey, this says if we just do this one thing, wear a mask, that we can reduce the contact, and we can also stand 6 feet apart or try to stay apart from each other and not touch each other, wash our hands and wear a mask. That could help. Maybe we could try that. And everybody else goes, yeah, that seems pretty easy. It doesn't seem like super horrible, and we don't want any more of our friends to die or to get sick, so we'll wear the mask. Like, okay, so we all decided. So I'll say, okay, me, I'll wear it too. Like, I'm part of this community. Tomorrow I'll wear a mask. You guys wear your mask, and then we'll see if that helps. And nobody feels like they're being stepped on or anything. So that is through a classroom community. Now, see, what I had to do before that would happen, though, is have built a community, which means the kids know they're respected. They know that they have an opinion that is valued. They know that I am part of the community. I'm not in charge of the community. If I have to be, I will be, but I am part of the community, and they are part of the community, and they care about that. Now, I know that it's a hard example when it's 24 kids that spend every day together and know each other and know their names and their faces and have a relationship versus millions of people in a country. But that's why people have been, and why it's important to be sharing these people's stories and their names and their pictures so that you see them as real people, because they are. Because we are a big community. 90,000 of us have died. Facts. 90,000 and counting of us have died. We have a problem, and we feel like the only solution is to go into these 2 camps to make a law, and these 2 camps go, no, we're not going to do it, or okay, we'll do it because we're supposed to. But there can be this beautiful community thing that happens where people care, and they go, because I care about that, I'm going to wear my dang mask. So I hope that makes it a little bit easier if you think of it in a classroom aspect of how in our classrooms we can build community every day that can hopefully, the big idea is, translate into adults that have community-mindedness. Because it is harder to have community with millions of people, but if you are community-minded, you have moral autonomy, you do things because it's the right thing to do, and you know the effects that it has on people, all of this empathetic nature and things if you have all of that, easy. But that's what we're lacking right now. And not everybody. There are plenty of people who are community minded, and they don't get enough credit. They don't get enough time on the news because it's not divisive, right? So we know that, but we need so much more. So to teachers and educators and administrators, I would urge you to do, when hopefully we can get back in school, to do some work in building communities and break down those rules take down those rule charts. Don't try to reward and punish kids into being good people. Like, build communities. And adult people already out there in the world, like, it's probably too late to fix this pandemic. Like, this is a mess, but there will be other problems that arise in our country and in our societies. That's just how it's going to be. And if we can start the work now in being community minded, then maybe we can approach those so much better, and we cannot be apathetic to 90,000 people dying and just turn a blind eye to it because we want our own personal liberties or whatever your reasoning is. So if that made sense to you, hello, new best friend. If that did not make sense to you, that's fine. You don't even really need to at me or talk to me, because I'm too busy building my community and learning from others. I don't really have time to have a conversation with you. But to those people who want to have an engaging conversation with me, I am so here for it. I can't wait to hear from you. Thank you for getting through this 11-minute video.